This is a ratchet, and it comes with a little key here that goes through this hole, and you put it through the holes in your winch and you ratchet it down just like that. So if you've ever done any maintenance on your car and you've used a ratchet, or you've done any assembly at home, you know, this ratchet works the exact same way as that, you know, for any kind of ratcheting winch bar. What's up, guys? Flatbed Trucker here, back with another video. And today I wanted to make a video about something that I had been asked about by a few different guys that I've run into over the road that have watched the channel, and they had all asked me, you know, in various forms, you know, how do I make my job easier? You know, how do I operate as smoothly as I do? And one of the key components for me doing that is having the right tools for the job. And these tools would be things outside of what the company provides, you know, not the standard flatbedder equipment that they hand out. It's things that I have, in one occasion or another, found to be extremely useful for the particular loads that I haul on a regular basis, and it really helps to expedite the process. So I want to make a video about those items so that you all will know about them and be able to get them for yourselves to make your jobs easier and much more stress-free. I think it'll be a top 10 list. So a top 10 list of the best flatbedder tools to make your job easier. Let's go ahead and get started. All right, guys, this list isn't in any particular order. I think they're all equally important, and they all serve their purpose very well and aid in making my job faster and more efficient. So I'll start off with the first thing, and that would be a push broom. One with a wide set of bristles like this. And what I use this for is to just clear off the deck of my trailer. Say if I'm hauling like something like some plywood, or you know, shingles, or really anything that, you know, tends to have a little bit of debris behind. You know, if you've got drywall and it leaves some junk on the trailer, you want to be able to sweep that off before you get out there on the road, because you don't want any of the debris on your trailer flying off when you're driving down the road and hitting a passenger vehicle or any other vehicle behind you, and, you know, causing damage or getting you in any kind of trouble. So definitely have a push broom. Now this one is two pieces. It's collapsible, so I just take it apart and I store it on the truck or in my belly pan, and it works out great. It's really cheap. I think you can get this really anywhere, any store. So that's number one. All right, the next tool in line would be a flashlight. Now this isn't just any flashlight. This is an LED flashlight, and it has 3 different settings. So it'll be bright like that, and it won't do it as much justice since it's the daytime, but it has highly bright, moderately bright, and it also has a pointed end right there where you can pinpoint something. And I use this every day, you know, when I'm doing my pre-trips, checking underneath the trailer, checking my 5th wheel pin. And it even helps, like, if I've had a couple of occasions where I've tried to help other drivers back into parking spaces at nighttime. You can kind of use this to direct them as they're backing in, or their blind spots, so that you can let them know if they're gonna get too close to something and you want to help them avoid hitting it. I mean, that's at least what I've been using it for. But a flashlight is a mandatory tool, you know, for a driver. You gotta have it so you can check in between the little crevices on your tractor and trailer and see everything that you need to see, regardless of the natural light level. And another thing that I love about this flashlight that makes it super useful for me is that it is magnetic here on the bottom. So you can stick it on to a part of your trailer or your tractor. Say you're looking at something and you need the use of both of your hands, you can go ahead and find a metal piece. Like, you got to make sure that it's actual metal that it'll stick to, so not anything that's like you know, aluminum or anything. It needs to be like steel. So you can take it and plant it right there like that, See how it's easily sticking right there? It comes right off. It's got a strong grip to it. And then the flashlight portion of it, you can bend it at a 90-degree angle, you know, as far as a 90-degree angle. So it can go, you know, like that, 45-degree angle. You can have it straight. So it's extremely useful, you know, especially if you're trying to do some maintenance under the hood, you know, changing a fuel filter, or, you know, adding some fluids or something, and you need to be able to use both of your hands to get that job done. So I mean, this thing is fantastic for multiple purposes. I mean, I've even had to use it when I was backing into a bay at nighttime, or was in the evening. So the sun's already gone down. I stuck this to a portion of the trailer in the back to let me know how close I was getting to the bay door, so I wouldn't crash into it, you know. And I just had the light shining on the ground so I could see exactly where the farthest part of the back end of that trailer was. This thing is awesome. So definitely a flashlight, preferably one that's as good as this one. That's magnetic. It has multiple uses. All right, I know I'm really harping on this flashlight, but I keep on thinking about extra things that go along with it. One of the biggest benefits, in addition to all the things I already mentioned about this flashlight, is that it doesn't require batteries. So you just plug it in. It has a rechargeable battery. So it'll let you know right here, that sign right there, that symbol is green. When the battery is getting low, that'll turn red. And then you just plug it in, let it charge for a few hours, and then this thing will be good on a single charge for, you know, at least, you know, a month, really, depending on how frequently you use it. Like I said, I use this every day to do my pre-trip. I'll use it at nighttime when I'm doing my post-trip, and, you know, if I see something that I need to scout out, you know, you can use this to, you know, signal and let people know that you're walking around, you know, anything. It's extremely bright. But yeah, I don't have to spend extra money to keep on adding new batteries to this. It's amazing. All right, number 3 on my list would be another flashlight, but a different kind. You want to have a flashlight for your helmet that is mountable. So got my helmet here, take this flashlight, put it on, and it actually has hooks built into the strap right there. Let it mount onto my helmet, no problem. Now this headlamp is actually made by the same brand that made that flashlight I just showed you. So this headlamp does all the same things, except it also has a strobe on it, which let me see here. Plug it up like that. And this one also, you can set it up to be motion activated. So if I swipe my hand in front of it, it'll turn it off. So you don't always have to keep on fiddling around with the button to turn it on or off. You can have it set so that the power stays on continuously, or you can press this little button here on the side that allows it to be motion activated. So it's on right now, it's off, it's on, it's off. So you can like activate it when you want it to be on, so you're not blinding people if you're walking around or working around other guys. So this thing has the battery pack in the back. As I said, it's rechargeable just like that other flashlight, and the charge lasts very long, and you can actually move this lamp around so that you can aim it, you know, like that. You can have it pointed down, or you can straighten it up, and all the variations in between. So it can be straight and it can go down. I believe it goes down to a 90-degree angle as well. Now sometimes if I'm not wearing my helmet, you can actually tighten these straps so you can just fit the headlamp on your head and not on the helmet. But you can see right there, it's got these little hooks that fit right into my helmets, and this thing is perfect because sometimes I do have to unload or get loaded when the sun is not out, you know, especially if it's towards the end of the year where the sun goes down a bit earlier. So this thing is super awesome as well. It's a must-have. That way you have free use of your hands again, but you also have your helmet on. And let's see, this thing, what I like to do so that the battery is not in any kind of use at all is when I'm not using the headlamp, I also like to disconnect it like that, so no power is even getting to the device up front at all. I just store it that way until I ever need to use it. So definitely recommend a headlamp. Now the only thing that I could say I would like more for this is if I had if it had a red lens over it, you know, because that way I won't lose my night vision, you know, if I turn the light off, you know, when I've been staring at it. But other than that, man, this thing is great. And then this thing also has a strobe feature, which, you know, you can use if you need to signal anybody or get somebody's attention really fast. But yeah, definitely a headlamp for your helmet. All right, item number 4 has to do with edge protection. So here is standard edge protector that I use. I think it's about a foot long or so. Yeah, it's a foot long edge protector. And this is what I use for the vast majority of the loads that I have. But in the hazmat videos that you guys have seen me do, where I've had the barrels of asphalt tar, or when I had some barrels of adhesive, you know, these are okay, but they're not optimal, because like those items are a bit wider. You know, I'd have to like try to use 2 of these, or you know, sometimes it's awkwardly spaced freight. I mean, and also like if you have something like rolled roofing, the kind that is standing vertically with a whole bunch of them packed up, I suppose. Imagine like a roll of toilet paper, but just much taller. You know, something like that's not going to work. You know, it's not the optimal thing to use. So what I have instead are V-boards. These are plastic V-boards. They're 2 feet long. So I know that sometimes you might have a trailer that has some of the wooden V-boards on it, but the drawback of using the wooden V-boards is that sometimes the cloth that's holding the 2 V-boards together can tear, and then you've got your V-board sitting lopsided and you're concerned about whether or not it's going to hold your freight. And if the V-board is not doing its job, then your straps can try to touch, let's say it's walled roofing or something like the barrels that I had. If you haven't checked it out, check out my hazmat video to see exactly what I'm talking about. But if your straps go between and hit the plastic and tears the plastic, then that will damage the structural integrity of that particular package of freight, and then it could tear off, and you could have a load shift, and then that's a problem, and it's an extreme problem when you have hazmat. You don't want that spilling or, you know, getting loose or anything like that. You want that to be stable. So these eliminate that problem. They have grooves built into it, so your straps would go in here, and as I say, you don't have the problem that you would have with wooden V-boards, with the strap tearing or the staple coming loose. You know, this is all one solid piece, and I have I think right now I have about 16 of these. I think a good number for them will be like having a set of 20, so I might buy a few more for myself. But yeah, if you have that many of them, you'll be able to cover anything if you're a hazmat hauler, or even if you wanted to use this for a regular load where you don't think that a standard edge protector is going to be sufficient. So then after that, the next item to go along with that would be an edge protector pole. And you guys all know, anybody who's ever hauled anything, you know, TMC related, and I'm sure a lot of other companies as well, if you hold drywall or insulation, or, you know, shingles, if the load is high enough, you know, because I've had a couple of tall shingle loads before, just a couple, but you can't always reach with just your bare hands to put, you know, an edge protector up. So you got to give yourself some extension, something like this. Now this is just a standard piece of PVP pipe that I cut, and I put a T-joint on it like this, and then I just put some super glue in there to seal it all together. And I'm 6'1". This thing's almost as tall as I am, and even with my arms being longer, sometimes it's still not enough. So I also cut an extension of PVC pipe to go along with this. So here's the extension, and it just has a joint on it so that I can put the bigger piece into the other one. So I'd say let me see, I didn't measure this before I got it out for you guys, but let me see. It's about 2.5 to 3 feet long for the extension, and all I do is just take them like that, and now I have a extremely long edge protector pole, and I'm able to reach the top of everything, you know, the top of the tallest loads that I ever get, no problem. So definitely an edge protector pole is a must-have, and it's super cheap to make. You know, go to any home improvement store and you'll be able to get these supplies, no problem, everything that you need to make it. And then you just need to have a saw to cut it to length, and you need to actually be able to cut a groove or cut a little gap in your T-joint. You don't want the groove to be too wide, and you don't want it to be too narrow, because if it's too wide, your edge protector, when you're trying to put it up, will keep falling out. And if it's too narrow, you won't be able to get your edge protector off of the load without pulling it down. So I think this is about maybe half an inch of spread that I have here, half an inch or three quarters possibly. You want to definitely, before you cut something like this, you want to make sure you got one of your edge protectors that you're going to use on hand, so you can put it up there and see how wide you want to make this. I mean, you're better off cutting it more narrow first, and then, you know, cutting it a little bit wider as you see you need space, versus cutting it too wide too early, because then you're gonna have to buy a whole new T-joint and start over again with this part of the process. All right guys, number 6, and I love this thing. I can't begin to tell you how much more convenient and time efficient this one has made my work day. And that item would be an airline hose. Yes, I love this thing. Now this is what you would use to really, you know, air up your tires, you know, because without something like this, you wouldn't be able to put any air into your tires until you go to a truck stop. And, you know, it takes a while to air up your tires, you know, it's depending on how low they are. And this thing, you can air up your tires whenever you want, wherever you want, because the air that this thing uses comes from the airline on the tractor. So you hook this up to your trailer airline, the red line, and you just you go ahead and you hit the button, and then it'll start pressing the air from that, and it'll fill up as much as you want. This thing works really fast. I mean, even you could use this for your car too. You know, if you hook it up to your trailer line, you know, say you got a low tire on your car, you know, you're about to go home or something like that, you can use this. You know, you'll get a little free air pump. But this thing is made from rubber, so you don't want to get one that's made out of plastic. This is made from rubber, and it's also insulated, so it will not crack and fray in the cold weather, which is something you definitely do not want. So you can use this in all seasons, anywhere. So it doesn't matter how far up north you are in the wintertime, this thing will work, and it's not going to be damaged. And it pumps all the way up to 300 psi, and that's way more air than any truck tire is going to need. And I can't remember what the temperature rating is that it's cleared to work to, but it's way colder than anything you're going to experience. You know, you would have to be like in like the tundra, because I remember it was down to some negative number in Fahrenheit. So it's way colder than most guys are going to be going, unless you're like up in Canada or Alaska, the far north. So this comes with its own nozzle for the front and the rear as well, so you can hit both sets of your dual tires. And here's the part right here where I say you would connect this to your airline the same way that you would connect your airline to your trailer, your grommets there, just the same way, the glad hands. And it's really easy to store, so I just have mine raveled up when I'm not using it. It's 50 feet, so that means that it can stretch all the way from the front of your tractor where your airlines are, all the way to the rear back there where your last set of tires are. No problem, and you will still have hose to spare. Trust me, I've already used it. It's amazing. So this is 100% worth the expense. It's made my life so much easier. You know, I can air up my tires whenever I want. So definitely get yourself an airline hose, an insulated airline hose, and make sure that you are checking the rating for the cold temperature that it can be effective up to. Like I said, make sure it's insulated, otherwise you might have an issue with the airline cracking when it gets too cold outside for you to use it. Once you extend it, it'll crack, and then once it has a breach in it, it's worthless. You might as well throw it away. But definitely this. All right guys, tool number 7 would be a 4-inch ratchet like this. And you guys have seen me use this in a bunch of my videos, and I've already sung the praises of this thing. You know, it's awesome for me, especially when I have a trailer like a Benson, where the ratchets, or I'm sorry, not the ratchets, but the winches only go up so far. So I have a Fontaine right now, so I don't really have to worry about it. But when you have a Benson, usually, you know, your winch only goes up to, you know, right around here or something, and you might have a load that's extended all the way up that way, and you need to have a way of securing it. Now, if you don't have a ratchet, a 4-inch ratchet that can accommodate your 4-inch straps, you're going to be stuck using like a 2-inch strap, like 2 of them, and then you're going to have to pull out 2 2-inch ratchets to do the job of what 1 4-inch can do. So if you get yourself one of these, you don't have to have that problem, because the Benson trailers, they're not only like that in the front, but in the rear, the very back of the trailer as well. The spool for the winch only goes so far before you're stuck in no man's land. You're gonna have these 2-inch ratchets back there as well. So I have 2 of these 4-inch ratchets, and they are amazing. They get the job done for me every time, and I'll give you guys a quick demonstration of how they work and why I love them. All right, I went ahead and hooked up the ratchet to the strap. I mean, it's awesome. Like, you can put it anywhere you want to on the tractor, or on the trailer rather, you know, whether it's the very front, the very rear, or you need something in between. Like, say you even forgot to space your winches properly, and you don't feel like undoing some of the winches that you already have tightened down in order to move some of your winches farther down to get the load accommodated properly. If you have 2 of these, you can go ahead and do that. Throw your strap wherever you want, put the ratchet wherever it needs to be, and still get your load secured properly. So just take it, and it's good to go. It's just like any other ratchet you use. I mean, these are great. Like I said, if you get 2 of these, you'll be more than good to go. All right, number 8 would be a ratcheting winch bar. So it's just what it sounds like. It's a winch bar, but it has a ratchet on it. Now, when you have this is one of my favorite items because it helps to save me time. You know, this is a standard winch bar that most of you are going to have, and what pretty much everybody who gets into flatbedding starts out with. You know, so it's just standard bar, winch head on it, and you know, you can even use this, you know, if you're trying to, you know, this hole here, if you're trying to pull for a snap binder, or you're trying to tighten down one of your chain binders, you can put the handle inside the hole here and kind of use this for leverage to crank. These are good, they do their job, but you know, it's not as efficient for time, because every time you need to winch it down, you got to put it into the hole, winch it down, take it out, put it in the next hole, put it down, take it out. It can be a lot, especially when you have to go down the whole trailer doing that. So the ratcheting winch bar has that same box head. It doesn't have the hole to be able to leverage for your snap binders, but I'm not a fan of snap binders anyway. I don't think that they're very safe to use. So this is ratchets, and it comes with a little key here that goes through this hole, and you put it through the holes in your winch, and you ratchet it down just like that. So if you've ever done any maintenance on your car and you've used a ratchet, or you've done any assembly at home, you know, this ratchet works the exact same way as that, you know, for any kind of ratcheting winch bar. So I'll give you an example. I've used this in a few of my videos, but I'll show you guys here up close how it goes. So I've got my winch right there. So we insert it through the hole. We take our key that I showed you, just put it in there, ratchet it down as much as you want. Now, you don't want to utilize this like if you're winching it down, when you get to the end and the strap gets tight and you have to really put some force in there to crank it and give it that last bit of tightness that's really difficult sometimes. You don't want to ratchet with this because you'll break the gears. You know, this isn't like a breaker bar where you can just press down as hard as you want to. You might snap the gears inside of your ratchet winch bar, and you don't want to do that. So you want to get it, you can get it pretty tight, but you don't want it to like bone crushing tight. When it comes to the point where you need to really put some real force down there, some leverage, that's when you want to use the box head to finish it off, because you're not going to break this. This is like solid steel. So you go ahead and take that, and then you would finish it off just like that. But I like to use this as well when I'm taking my securement down, when I'm unloading. You know, you can just use this box head, work your way down the trailer, and just use it to pull your winch down a little bit so that you can take your straps loose. But I keep both of these. Like I said, so I have two. So I got this is the main one I use, and this is just backup. You know, if for any reason I ever lost this or it stopped working, the gears rust up or something, but I keep them lubricated, I still have this. So I won't be, you know, out of work, out of commission, not able to do my job. So, but I prefer this. This saves me time, much more convenient to use. I can work my way down the trailer very quickly. So ratchet winch bar, highly recommend. Now this thing is a little bit shorter than a standard winch bar. So put them side to side like this. So I'd say it's about 5, maybe 6 inches shorter, which that has come in handy for me, because like sometimes I'm loading in dock areas that are pretty tight, or where there's another trailer near me that's getting loaded in like a very tight bay, and the fact that this winch bar is a little bit shorter, you know, lets me still crank down with leverage, you know, at any angle. So I don't have to worry about, you know, trying to winch it down some and then hitting like the wall next to me or the next trailer next to me. This thing is awesome. That's I can't really say I can't really say how long it is. I'll measure it out for you guys to let you guys know. But they come in different lengths, but this one is perfect for me. All right guys, we are in the home stretch. We got number 9 here, and that would be a strap winder. Now I have 2 of them right here, as you can see. This is a manual strap winder, which a lot of guys are gonna have. You'll see most dudes starting out with something like this. And then you have an electric strap winder. Now, I love to use a strap winder. I don't think, like, ever since I started trucking, flatbedding specifically, I've always had a strap winder. Now, I prefer the electric strap winder 100%, but I keep the manual as a backup. Now, I'll show you how these work. For your manual, we'll start off with that one. So say you got your strap right there, you know, you feed it through, wrap it around, and you got to hold on to it for a little bit. You got this crank up here that you can use to tighten it up against the side of the trailer so it doesn't move around a whole bunch while you're trying to tighten this thing down to roll it up. And you got to hold it and roll it, you know, until you get it finished off. I don't really like doing this because, you know, if you let go of it, it can start unrolling itself if you let it go too soon. Plus, like, you know, you see it doesn't roll up. It doesn't always roll up into one tight piece. You see how it's kind of like frayed on one side, or it's kind of loose on one side and not on the other. And you gotta do this. You know, it reminds me of one of those, you know, old school meat grinders when you're trying to make sausage or something. Move the camera there. But yeah, it reminds me of one of those meat grinders that you would use, you know, if you're trying to make some sausage links for yourself. You know, forget that. You know, I don't like this thing, so keep that on the back burner for when the electric strap winder is not working. But this thing, the design is very similar to the manual that you saw over there, except there's no hand crank on this one. you take this and you would have it just like that. Now the caveat to this is like you have to have another tool in order for this one to work properly. So you have to have a drill. This is just a standard drill, nothing special about this one. And then you have to have an 1/8 inch bit like that. Okay, and you have to put that in the drill, and then that bit will fit inside of this, show you, this keyhole right here, just like that. And then you just drill, you pull the button on the drill, and you let the drill do all the work. And I'll show you guys how that thing looks in action and why I love it so much. So the issue that I was telling you guys about before, where the strap is kind of like, you know, going off to the sides, it doesn't want to control itself. I'm sure there's some guys out there that can wind it, they've been doing it for, you know, years and years, and they make it look good and all that, but you know, I don't have time for that silliness. So this right here, this little prong keeps it all in line, so you don't have to worry about it going from side to side. Now I still like to hold it a little bit in the beginning just to make sure, but once it gets started, it's good to go. So put it in there, and it's extremely fast. And you want to make sure you're watching out for that buckle at the end. You don't want that buckle to snap up and hit you. But you see how fast that was? I mean, it rolls it up to a very tight, neat package. Perfect roll, ready for you to store it away. Now, I love using this electric strap winder. It's probably one of my favorite tools. That's why I saved it to the end to show to you guys. But especially in the wintertime when it's cold, who wants to stand outside, say you're in the winter, up north, anywhere in the wintertime, and the wind is blowing, the air is cold, it's biting. Who wants to put their hand, whether it's gloved or not, on cold metal? I mean, that it can hurt your hands. I mean, really, the feeling, the numbness, that biting, pinching feeling when your fingers are too cold. I mean, let alone if you smack your finger or your hand on something when it's already like numb, that hurts. So I don't want to have to touch this. I don't have to wind this. I don't want to have to stand outside longer than I have to. So the electric strap winder is a win in any way, shape, form, or possible. It's so fast, you can just go right on down the line. I just pick this thing up where the straps are. So when I do this load here, when I unsecure it, I take all my straps down. I'm just gonna go take this right here, roll this strap up, walk my way down to the next strap, roll it up, and then once all the straps are rolled up, I just walk them all back down here and store them where they go. This is a mandatory tool. You guys got to get an electric strap winder. Have this for backup. Like I said, the battery in your drill dies, you know, and it's not working at all, then you need to have something. You got to do this, because if you have neither one of these, you're going to end up, you know, being stuck out there looking goofy, you know, having to roll your straps up by hand doing this. Don't let that be you, guys. All right, let's go ahead and cross this finish line with the last tool. All right, guys, tool number 10, my absolute favorite, and I'll explain to you why, is a hand truck dolly like this. Now this thing has multiple uses. It's collapsible, so here's the base. You can close that, and you can press this button here to shorten the handle, and it's a lot smaller, easy to store away wherever you need to put it. But my main purpose for this is when I am needing to move my tarps, when I'm packing my tarps up, or when I need to do, say, a trailer swap, because most of the time, you know, the standard way that they have you go out there, you got to go pick your tarp up, you know, use the proper lifting technique to make sure you don't hurt yourself, and then you have to walk the tarp to wherever you're going to store it. You know, it's a lot to deal with. I mean, like, you guys tell me, what do you guys think it looks easier? What would you rather do? you rather do that, or would you rather do this? I don't really think it's much of a question. All right, now guys, as I showed you, it's a lot less labor intensive to use a hand truck dolly, to let it do the heavy lifting for you. You know, instead of having to go pick this tarp up and carry it from, you know, wherever you have it, where you rolled it up to wherever you're going to store it. And aside from it being less labor, the reason why I love it and why I saved it for last is because it not only makes my job easier, but it makes my job safer. Imagine having to pick these tarps up, the lumber tarps. I believe they weigh like 100 pounds or a little bit more than that, you know, and that's when they're dry, you know, let alone when they're wet, or when they're covered in like snow, or they have ice blended in them when they're super fat and they won't roll up. Imagine having to use that lifting technique to pick that thing up and carry it when there's snow on the ground, or when there's a thin layer of ice under the snow, that hard, compact snow that's dangerous to walk on. Do you want to be having to carry a tarp, you know, anywhere, to pick it up and risk walking with it, twisting your ankle, breaking your leg, hurting yourself in some way, you know, hurting your back, you know, having to lift that up, you know, say you're already tired, you've been working for however long during the day, you know, you need rest, your muscles aren't as strong as they were when you first woke up, something like that, and you got to pick this mess up. So instead of just using something like a tool to make your job easier, you know, you just lean it up, use leverage, and then you just roll it easily to where it needs to be. You can roll this on the snow, you can roll it on the ice without risk of hurting yourself. If you slip when you're just pulling this, you're just gonna drop the dolly. You're not gonna drop the dolly and then fall down with like, you know, 100 pounds in your hands, you know, and hurt yourself really bad. And if you hurt yourself, you're not gonna be able to go out there and work and make money. You're gonna be on light duty, if not sitting at home waiting for yourself to heal. It's an unnecessary risk. I love this thing. You know, I use this and I have not looked back. You know, save your lower back, guys. Even if you're using proper lifting technique, over time, having to do this on a, you know, a daily, weekly basis, however many times you have to tarp, you know, it's gonna wear on you over time. You know, use your tools to your advantage. Something like this is amazing. Like I said, you saw how easy it was when I used this. You know, it's great. I love it. I can't say enough great things about it. You know, it's my favorite specialty tool that I've picked up along my adventures on the road here. I highly recommend you guys get it, you know, especially if you want to preserve your lower back your lower back, you know, over time. Well, there you have it, guys. It's my top 10 list for tools that make my job a whole lot more easy, efficient, and a lot more safe. I highly recommend all of those tools. I mean, I love them. It's been working out great for me. I have a really easy time out here when I'm working. If you're interested in any of the tools that you saw me use in this video, I will have the vast majority of them listed in my Amazon store. Just check the link in the description and you'll be able to get your hands on those and have an efficient upgrade to your tool list for your truck, so you can get out here and make that money as easily as you can. But until the next time, guys, I'll check you in the next video here at Trucker Tools.